Welcome to All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. The name says it all. If you like what you hear, download and subscribe, and make sure you leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Just visit youtube.com/allthingscovered. Pat P, what are we going to cover on this episode?
Man, we got so much to talk about from the NFL playoff, including your Steelers suffering an early playoff exit. Sorry to see that, my guy.
No question.
Also, my guy Jalen Ramsey comes up big once again against the Seattle Seahawks. Bad blood between the Ravens and the Titans. And we also got to talk about the national championship game. And we can't forget, we got somebody that make them say, nah. We got a hip-hop legend and Master P coming up after halftime. Can't wait for the conversation.
Stay tuned. Now it's time for chopping it up. It's a lot to talk about, but when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately, their season is over. And since the Cardinals season is over, that means my guy, Pat Peterson, he's now in the offseason, right? So there are a lot of fans, Pat P, that would love to exactly hear what your offseason regimen will be, what your offseason schedule will be outside of being an awesome father. You know, what happens when your season ends? Like, what's on your schedule? Like, how soon do you get right back into the hard nitty gritty of working out or traveling? What do you have on tap for your schedule with the off season?
Man, about the first month, I get all the traveling out of the way, spend some quality time with my little ones because, throughout the week and the weekends are busy. I'm either traveling or still preparing for the game. So during the season, it's tough to spend some quality time with the little ones. So just literally just picking up taking my daughter to school, picking her up from school, coming home, spending time with my little one, take them to the park. Yesterday we went and fed some ducks. Just trying to get, do as much as I can because, in April's going to be right back here before you know it. So I just want to spend some time in with my girls for the first month, for the most part. Have some weekend trips. We're going to take them up the Bell here to see some snow this weekend. So just moving around a little bit more than what we were able to do during the season. And secondly, I get back into it probably like the tail end of January to the first week of February. It's basically a lot of cardio, a lot of bike riding, just to get my lungs back acclimated with, high volume of exerting energy. So probably, after that 2 weeks of getting back into the thick of things, I start getting on the field, doing some movement work, some football drills, and things like that.
Yeah, and speaking of movement work and football drills, I think it's only appropriate with us having this show, All Things Covered. And granted, we're nowhere close to being to hitting that 1-year mark with the show being in existence, but this will be the first off season that you're a part of a show and you also still going about your workout regimen. So what I think would be super dope, Pat P, right? When you get in time, when you get closer then getting ready for the conditioning part and the technical part, and with the movement that we have going on with All Things Covered, I think it'd be dope if we can have a camera along with myself being like the narrator, and I might work out with you a little bit, but I ain't doing everything that you're doing because I'm all the way retired. Let's give the viewers a sneak peek about what it means and what it takes to be an all-pro like corner like yourself. What you think about that?
I'm with it.
Because I definitely want to tap into that whole technical standpoint of working out with the hat when it comes to the bump and run coverage, and also to your eye placement, your body positioning, your bump and run stance. The same can be said for off technique, because there are a lot of, young DBs that listen to the show, that watch the show, and they hit me with questions all the time about certain things that you do working out. And I think that would be the best way to educate, not just the collegiate players, high school players, but a lot of professionals that are big time fans as yours as well. So if you up for that, I think that'd be something that we can make happen in the near future.
Oh yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it.
There you have it. Hey, something for you guys to stay tuned and get ready for in the next few upcoming weeks. Now it's time for Around the League. And I can tell you this much, this past weekend, if you're a football fan, you were in heaven ×3. You had 3 ball games on Saturday, 3 ball games on Sunday, all entertaining, competitive ball games to say the least. But the first game we're going to highlight wasn't too competitive. It started with my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers getting burned by the Cleveland Browns. And leading up to that ball game, there was some bulletin board material that some people were starting to talk about. Juju Smith-Schuster, friend of the show, we had him on earlier in the show. If you did get a chance to see that episode, please go back and listen to it and watch it. It was a real good top tier like episode. But Juju Smith-Schuster basically referred to the Browns as nameless gray faces, right? And the Browns did not take too kind of those statements, and they came out and played some big time football, ultimately upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers 48-37. The first playoff win since 1994. Pat P. In the first quarter, Browns had 28 points. How surprised were you seeing that score?
Man, I was traveling and I was like, what? I was like, nah, this can't be right. Then I watched the game and they just had a great balanced attack. And that's how the Browns been all year. I know, like they've been like everybody wish they had a couple games back, but the Browns been playing some solid football all year. You know what I mean? Baker Mayfield has grown up into his own. Steve has done a great job with him, so it's been great to, see him finally, because, so many people have been giving him grief about, having all these commercials, don't have many wins. But it's finally it's good to finally see him fulfill, what the Browns thought he would be.
Yeah, and I think that game just added to the rivalry because of the statement from Juju, and then Juju doing the TikTok dance, the Corvette, I think that's the name of the song, dancing and on people logos, and some people feel some type of way. And I saw Jarvis Landry actually mocked his famous TikTok dance in the locker room after their win. So I think that just, adds fuel to that rivalry. And I can't wait to see these two teams play next season in 2021 in the regular season. Talking about another young quarterback getting his first playoff win, Broward County native, 954 stand-up Lamar Jackson. Hey, listen here. I felt like that was a hot team going into the playoffs because they technically were in. Yeah, I called it, right? They were in playoff mode going back the last 5-6 weeks, they couldn't afford to have any loss. And Lamar Jackson is he playing some real good football, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. This when the Ravens are at they're the scariest team that you want to play right now. Like you said, when they was in that playoff mode, this go back when it was in 2012. The same exact thing. They had to win 6 games in a row in order to have like a shot. And they got in, and you know how it is. And when you go into the playoff hot, that's like you feel like nobody can touch you. And that's how the boys feeling right now, man. Them boys are hot. They're rolling. They know they got to go on the road and win. They got a big one here Saturday. And I won't be surprised if they meet up with because who they got this week?
They got Buffalo.
Yes, I won't be surprised if they meet up with Kansas City in the NFC Championship.
Ooh, so you're just saying Kansas City gonna beat Cleveland? You're not even giving the Browns a shot?
Nah, I think the Chiefs win by 9. I think the Chiefs win by 9. Yeah.
Well, the game of the week for me in the AFC is Buffalo and Baltimore.
How far?
That's the game of the week for me in the AFC. I think that's going to be must-see.
That might be the game of the week of this weekend, honestly. I mean,
it's a lot. When you in the NFC, you got the Saints, and we're going to highlight that game in Tampa. But, we've seen those two teams play already twice a year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen that matchup already. And I think, honestly, don't be surprised. I think Tampa going to come out on top this matchup.
Oh, okay. But like I said, it's going to be must-see TV. You don't want to miss any of these ball games because you will get your money's worth for sure. Transitioning to the NFC, Pat P, your divisional foes, team that you don't really like at all. They probably don't like you neither. The Rams, the Rams and the Seahawks, right? Listen, the defense that the Rams are playing right now.
Hey.
Boy, I feel like, and I'm gonna give you a basketball analogy with this. We both are Laker fans, and we had Shaquille O'Neal on the show some weeks ago, and he talked about not arguably, but being the best, most dominating duo ever when he teamed up with Kobe, right? And I think right now, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, they might be the most dominating duo that we've seen.
Them boys are special, boy.
Aaron Donald is Shaquille. He just terrorizes you with brute strength, sneaky quickness, crazy athleticism, and he just played bully ball. And then Jalen is a guy who's looking for all problems. He doesn't mind being a villain. and they complement each other real well.
Yeah.
And what they did this past weekend against Seattle, Pat, they could have won the ball game if I played quarterback. That's how I feel. They scored again. Jalen just put the clamps on Metcalf again.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald was a terror until he went out of the ball game. Man, just that defensive effort, man. What are you seeing from the Rams right now that's allowing them to click? Not to mention they got a Florida State running back in Cam Akers that's toting that rock as well.
I have an opportunity to watch those guys for, over the last 2 seasons. Obviously, they have a different scheme this year. They're running a little bit more quarters this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and that the great thing about quarters, when you have a front four like that, it allows you to cover up the field.
Yeah.
And when you got Aaron Donald, you can move Aaron Donald anywhere on the field.
Anywhere.
Complementary pieces that's able to work, and get, produce as well. I mean, the sky's the limit for them. They don't have to blitz at all.
No, they don't. And don't forget about Leonard Floyd. He's been the wild card for their defense.
Complementary pieces. That's a complementary piece.
Yeah.
So when you able to rush forward, and drop 7, it's hard for anybody to do anything on you. And also being stout in the run at the same time. So that's a recipe for success. And those guys are playing some great football over the last 6 to 5 weeks as well.
Yeah, correct. They're playing good team football. And speaking of that ball game, the Seahawks just fired their OC, Brian Schottenheimer. And he's on the outside looking in. I'm not saying because of that loss, but, I think they had some issues with his play calling throughout the year, which is crazy because curly hair Russell Wilson started off on fire and he just died down. You remember they were saying, let Russ cook. It's kind of hard to cook when you ain't got no meat.
Yeah. I agree, but I think I haven't seen the stat line, but I'm interested to see how the absence of Carson played a role in that, because
Chris Carson.
We play Seattle twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Russell really, they throw the ball, but Seattle is a running football team.
Yeah.
They rely on they put their bread and butter on the ground.
Yeah,
Russell is obviously just a great complementary piece that can go out there and do, over and beyond things. But if you ever look at their offense, they don't need no offensive coordinator anyway. They don't throw the ball on time anyway. It's like everything is impromptu. So It's like Russell runs over here, then he releases it. I think, man, over the 2 games we played them, I kid you not, Matt, out of probably 95 passing plays, Russell probably threw 10 of them on time.
On time, yeah. He makes things happen. He improvises a lot.
They don't need no offensive coordinator. It's the running game, and they never had a solid offensive line. That's always been an Achilles heel for them. And it just, they rely on the running game, and they suffer some injuries this year. And I think that's what kind of hurt them at the end of the stretch. Like everybody else, that wasn't able to, be at full ammo with their run. So I believe that's what came down to it. They just wasn't able to move the ball, run the ball on the ground to open up the play, because they built off play action and boots.
Yeah,
so
in that offense.
And what sets that up?
The running game. You got to be able to run.
The running game ain't there. Is different now. So I think that's the biggest thing that hurt them late in the year.
No question. All things covered. Pat Peterson, Brian McFadden. We're talking about playoff football. The Seahawks just fired Brian Schottenheimer. Make sure you stay tuned. We got Master P joining us later in the show, but right now we're going to tap into the All-Pro team was announced. And let's talk about the secondary. Let's talk about the corners. Jalen Ramsey made the All-Pro team. No surprise there. Xavien Howard made the All-Pro team as well. Others receiving votes. You got Jair Alexander. Oh, I really like his game out there in Green Bay. Trey White, Marlon Humphrey, James Bradbury, who's also played some real good football for the Giants. J.C. Jackson, right? J.C. Jackson is crazy because the Pats didn't even have his name listed as a potential Pro Bowler, but he received some votes for the All-Pro team. At the cornerback position, we look at the 2 guys that made the team, did they get it right? And do you look at any other potential cornerback that received votes that probably should be a little higher on that list?
I think they definitely got it right. I thought Jalen played some plays, is still playing some unbelievable football right now.
Yep.
Literally just putting the clamps on everybody that comes his way. And Xavien Howard has been another phenomenal, and not only this year, consistent year.
He got 10 picks, right?
I
Yeah,
thought
I think he finished with 10 or 11.
Okay, I know at one point he had 9 with 2 games to play.
He got double digits. He finished with double digits for sure.
All right,
yeah.
cool. So, and also when you have 10, if you have double digit picks, it's
a wrap.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's automatic, and he did the same thing last year. So, they definitely got it right this year. Is to see those guys continue to be successful on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show that the work that they're putting in the offseason is paying off.
It's paying off. And also, too, look at the safeties. Tyrann Mathieu, friend of the show. We had him on the very, very first episode of All Things Covered. He made the All-Pro team along with Minkah Fitzpatrick and your teammate, Budda Baker. Baker. What are your thoughts about the safeties?
I thought they got that right as well. I thought Minkah been playing some unbelievable football since he got with Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a man on a tear since he got there, literally since their first game. And Honey Badger's been the Honey Badger. He shows up in every big game. He shows up in every big moment, and he always finds a way to seize it. And the switchblade Budda Baker, he's everywhere where you need him and where you don't expect him to be. You know what I mean? So he's a guy that takes a lot of pride in his work, that takes a lot of pride in his game, and it shows every Sunday. And the effort and the work that he put into it, it definitely feeds off into his teammates. So those 3 guys are definitely well deserving of those all pro votes.
Yeah, no doubt. So now let's transition to the divisional round look ahead. And we're not going to talk about some of the games because you gave your picks on the matchups this weekend. But let's talk about the individual matchups. Man, wide receiver, cornerbacks, right? DaVante Adams versus Jalen Ramsey. I want to see this matchup out in Lambeau Field, man. Knowing both individuals extremely well, and I think DaVante is probably one of the smoothest pure route runners in the game. His release is so smooth off the line of scrimmage. What do you expect to see in that matchup, Pat P?
Man, that's going to be an electrifying matchup, man. That's the one that I'm looking forward to over this weekend for sure. Like you said, DaVante is very, very smooth, very crafty in his route running ability, get in and out of his breaks. And, Jalen is a big physical corner that invites those short routes because it gives him – and DaVante can take the tops off the defense as well, but he's a much more of a possession type receiver. I call him – he's like a 18 under receiver. There's not many times he's going to run routes over 18 yards. So I kind of eliminate unless he's in a slot. That's a big red flag. When he's in that slot, that's a slot fade coming. But when he's outside the numbers, not going nowhere over 18 yards. So I think that's going to fall right there in Jalen's hands. It's going to come down to if he's able to disrupt the timing between him and Aaron at the line of scrimmage. But I gotta take my boy Jalen. I gotta go with the DB.
Yeah, it's only right. Who cares if you're being biased?
Right. I think Jalen come out on top. I give DaVante 41.
Okay. 41. So we transition to another game in the NFC. You got Mike Evans versus Marshon Lattimore. It seems like Lattimore has had Evans' number. I mean, the last 3 receiving lines for Evans versus Lattimore, 2 targets, 0 receptions. 2 targets, 0 receptions. 2 targets, 0 receptions. What do you expect to see in that matchup?
Oh man, knowing Mike Evans and knowing how big Tom Brady knows this game is, I guarantee you that won't be the stat line this week.
Yeah, if he's healthy, he's getting a catch.
Hey, I guarantee you that won't be a
shuffle pass. He gonna get a catch if he's healthy.
Right, no doubt about it. I guarantee he get some yards in the catch this week. 100%. I put my house on it that he will have to catching some yards.
No question.
But that's going to be another fun matchup as well down there in the Superdome in the Mercedes Superdome. That's going to be a kind of tricky one because Mike Evans, he's very sneaky. He can have a big game and he can have like not a mediocre game, but a game that's that's just all right. So he can always have those games that's like 81 yards, maybe a tub here or 4 receptions. Then he can have a game to where he had 131 for 10 reception, 2 tubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just all depends on how they enter him into the game early. I think that's going to predicate on, giving us an indication if they're really trying to feed Mike or get him involved into this game in order for them to be successful.
No doubt. And then there's another matchup that I would like to highlight. You got Stephon Diggs. He may line up on Marlon Humphrey or Peters. You know what I mean? So Marcus Peters. So that's another intriguing matchup as well in the Baltimore Ravens-Buffalo matchup. So it's going to be some prime time individual matchups.
Marcus Peters will have a pick this week.
Yeah, he's the ultimate ball hawk. And when he pick you off, he's going to let you know about it.
And it might be a 6. So Mark, I'm telling you, that dude, he's always around the ball and playing against, Josh Allen this year. He's a gunslinger. He's gonna try to fit some balls in some tight places, and I think that's where that Ravens secondary gonna make them pay.
What do you think about, real quick, when Peters got the interception against Tennessee and they danced on the logo? How you felt about that?
No, I didn't even see it. Like I said, I was traveling this weekend, so I didn't see it because that game was Sunday.
No, I think it was Saturday. Was it? Yeah, it was Saturday.
Okay, I missed that game then.
Yeah. Well, they danced on the logo. Well, they got a little hate going on between those two organizations as well. Yeah, it's crazy because they're not in the same division. You know what I mean? So I think Tennessee.
That made football better, though.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's make some things personal. Let's take the fun out of it a little bit.
Because next time you see him, it's on site. It's like
yeah, no question asked. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Now, check this out. We're gonna take a quick break, but on the other side of that break, man, we coming back with an icon, hip hop legend, entrepreneur, hustler, the ultimate hustler. Master P, No Limit Soldier. Get your tanks out, get your dickies on. He'll be joining us on the opposite side of this break. Stay tuned.
I got you hook up. Holla if you hear me. I got the hook up. Holla if you hear me.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. Back from halftime. Got an opportunity to hydrate. And like we promised you guys early in the show, we got a special guest joining us. Every week, all things covered, we will deliver like the mailman. And we got an iconic individual right now joining us here on All Things Covered. Man, this is an individual we all know globally, domestically, rapper, actor, producer, music and film, entrepreneur, baller, and most importantly, the ultimate hustler. Master P is joining us here on All Things Covered. Appreciate you, P, for joining us, man. How's everything going? Number one, P, man, you're living real good, man. You're inspiring everybody right now, man. You're living real good. But thank you for joining us, man. How everything going with you?
Nah, man, you know what? God is good. I come from the ghetto. I come from struggle. I come from pain. And I tell everybody, if I could do it, you could do it. But you can't be afraid to change and grow up and do better with your life. And so God has blessed me and my family, man. I'm a humble man. I'm a man of God. And my thing is, the more we make, the more we give. I want to put other bosses on, other entrepreneurs on. It's not just about me. So I created a platform called Master P Reviews, to where we let other business owners and their products shine. That's my ultimate goal. I want to have thousands of us at the table, not just one or two multi-millionaires and billionaires. I want it to be thousands of us so we can change the game together.
Oh, no doubt. And P, with you, there's so much we can talk about, and we will get through, all the positive things that you've been involved in. But first and foremost, I think it's only right we highlight the New Orleans Saints, right? Yeah. Your hometown favorite football team, clearly playing some real big time football in the playoffs, getting ready to have a home playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, with your Louisiana roots and being a Saints fan, how excited are you about the ball club and what they potentially could do this year in the playoffs?
Now, I'm very excited. We came a long way, even through the pandemic. We've always been the underdogs, and every year we get better and better. That's sort of like I do in life. I told my son the other day, because me and Romeo, we're not just a father and son. We're definitely partners. We have definitely business partners, but we also have one thing in common. We love the Saints, so that's our favorite team. And every year we have that opportunity, and we just taste it because we done got one Super Bowl. We need some more, and nobody in our way right now but Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And we got to do something big this week.
Hey, man, it's gonna be a fun one for sure. But Master P, man, you achieved a lot in the music industry. How special was it to play in a preseason game for the Hornets and for the Raptors? And how did it come about?
Yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, what people don't realize, and you go back and look at it, and that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna put out a biopic on, my NBA career. It was tough, man. Was a lot of hard work, and I mean, I played in so many NBA games, so I was the last cut for both of those teams. So when you're the last cut, you know that you could actually be on that team. But I mean, it was an amazing experience, but it was a lot of hard work, and it's like business. You have to get uncomfortable if you want to be successful. And people don't realize, I have 2 young boys right now. My sons, one is getting ready for college next year. He's a high school senior, and one is a freshman. And they some of the top basketball players in the country, Hersey and Mercy Miller. So I just get that game to them saying, you know what, if you want it, you got to work, you got to outwork the next man. So, I was almost there. I feel like they're going to get there with their hard work. So, I mean, it's incredible, man, to be able to do music, sell 100 million records, and be able to play in the NBA. That ain't nothing but God.
Right.
No question. Prayer and faith. And along with hard work, like you said, a few weeks ago, we had LeVar Ball on our show, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, he's been echoing a challenge to Michael Jordan on a one-on-one battle on the hardwood. But we understand actually once you had an encounter with MJ on the court and you came out on top. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
You know what, man? First of all, let's get it straight that MJ is probably the best NBA basketball player I ever seen in my life. But when you have confidence, and that's what I tell kids, it don't matter who you playing. So when I got on the court, you're just another number. So and I respect this man because he's probably one of the best players on the planet. But I had Metal World Peace on my team, a couple other guys. I think Gilbert Arenas. They was all college players at the time. And they had a lot of NBA players on Jordan team, and we just went at them, man. It was a pickup game, and that let me know that even though Jordan was really on his way out, but a win is a win.
No question. Do you remember how many points you scored?
No, because it was a pickup. It was a pickup. It was a pickup game. So it wasn't really just about me. We had a lot of other incredible players on the team. Me, once I get on the court, man, my confidence, and I'm a lion. I don't care if you're an elephant. I just look at you as you lunch. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you is. I don't look at that you bigger or stronger than me. I'm that lion, and I look at an elephant, a bull, or whatever. I look at them as lunch. So, if you look at, that's why the Lions is probably one of the most dangerous animals in the jungle, because he don't care about who he's going up against. He look at it as lunch, and that's the type of confidence I have. No matter what I do, I did it in the music industry, to where you had Tupac, you had Biggie Smalls, you had some of the best talent in the world, but I always was able to work hard and prevail to the top, and that's the way I raise my kids. It's not about what you have. You have to stay hungry and stay humble, but you also you got to know you're a beast. So when I get on a basketball court, that's the way I feel. I don't care who it is. It could be Michael Jordan, but if I'm on that court, I'm not gonna say you better than me. Like that's just how it go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a competitive person like that, and he is too. So nobody's gonna beat Jordan. I mean, that's just how he feels. So I don't care if I catch him on a bad day. A win is a win.
Could you beat LeVar Ball in a one-on-one?
Man, come on now! Don't even start. Don't even start there, because y'all know this stuff gonna go crazy. And but I told LeVar when I seen him, he was like, man, because you can't say that right now, because I still ball. So I don't want to make it where LaVar gonna say, well, man, I'm older now. And
y'all both 53, but the thing is, though, Pete, you work out a lot because I be seeing your social media. You know what I mean? You get your sons out there, y'all lifting weights, y'all walking around the neighborhood. LaVar came on our show and he said he's eating steak and milk. I'm like,
he ain't working out before
what kind of diet is that? Steak and milk. That don't even make sense.
Man, tell him get on that 90-day challenge with me, man.
Yeah, you gotta send him an invite.
Man, LaVar said he don't work out.
But you know what I do respect about him, man, how he raised his kids and they're doing great. And he just stuck to what he believed in. So, you know, that's what life is about. And if we're gonna change the game, it's gonna start with economic empowerment. So when you look at Black fathers, I mean, I really respect him for, you know, taking care of his kids and being there with them. And I mean, look what LaMelo is doing right now. It's incredible.
Man, yeah, it's nothing like seeing, like you said, you know, us Black fathers, you know, fulfill those things that others.
We always say all the negative stuff. Think about it. There's nobody showcase. They could say whatever they want about LaVar. They know one thing: he gonna be there for his kid, and that's the stuff we need to highlight. The media need to highlight that, but they don't.
Right. Yeah. Well, Pete, there've been a lot of reports out there about your interest in Reebok. What stands out about the Reebok brand to you?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of equity left in there. And I feel like Allen Iverson hasn't been to the forefront. And if we able to acquire that brand, I would make Allen Iverson the equivalent to what Jordan is to Nike. And I feel like he needs to be celebrated. And I feel like this brand could be incredible because, you know, as us, we buy a lot of tennis shoes, we buy a lot of clothing, and but none of that money comes back to us. So I'm just saying we need to empower us by acquiring a company like that and making it Black owned, so we can put the money back into the community and the culture because we built that brand. I mean, I grew up on Reebok, I grew up on Nikes and the Adidas,
the Reebok classics.
Gel bottoms. So you know what I'm saying? But think about it. If it has never been an African-American owner of none of those companies. So it's time. It's time to diversify the game right now and put some of us at the forefront of the table or get a seat at the table. And I feel like even if we don't get this deal, I feel like we're opening up the doors to so many other African-American minority business owners, knowing that they can acquire a company of this magnitude. Like, we don't realize that we can go and buy a company like that through the banking system and acquire the debt. And so that I want to educate my people on the same journey with me as we doing this. If you go back and look at Reginald Lewis, he acquired companies in 1970. He was the first African-American billionaire that I know of from Maryland. So if he could have did that in the 1970s, imagine what we could do now with the education and wisdom that we able to receive now. And I think this is going to be an educational transaction that I'm going to be able to share with the world to show, you know, our culture, how this done. And then now we'll have thousands of us at the table acquiring companies like this.
Yeah. Well, P, this is a two-part question for you regarding the Reebok deal. When I got drafted, Reebok owned the rights to the NFL. You know, they had the Reebok logo on the jerseys and the pants, and everything we wore on the sideline was Reebok down. So if you're able to acquire Reebok, what are you going to do outside of having Allen Iverson as the forefront of the brand? What else are you going to do to try to make the brand relevant once again? And the second part, how close are you guys, you and Baron Davis, to actually, you know, having some serious talks with the brand to be able to get that deal?
Yeah, well, I mean, if this deal goes through, we would go at the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. We would go after everybody. We would go after the colleges. I mean, because this is a big time national brand. How close we are, I mean, we're just as close as anybody else at the table. Only thing is, Reebok got to decide whether they want to take our money or take somebody else's money. Do they want to go? Do they want to go Black? Or do they want to keep doing what they've been doing for 15 years? So I just think that it's a changing of the guard. So we just as close as anybody else with a seat at the table.
Gotcha.
Hey, so yes, we're gonna continue to stay on the ball tip. We know Romeo had a little career at USC after having a huge music career. How were you guys able to manage the both throughout the years by becoming so famous and also stepping on the college campus?
Yeah, well, you know what? We stay humble. You know, Romeo is a lion, and I mean, he loved sports. He loved basketball. People don't realize, like, Romeo was like an Allen Iverson growing up as a kid. He put a lot of work in, and it was able to get him to college. And I think it could have gotten me even further if he wasn't doing all the other things. So this is a family of basketball. Like, basketball changed my life, saved my life, and I was able to hand the ball down to my kids. And then you look at, you know, my two younger sons now that's coming after Romeo. One in the 9th grade, one of the top players in the country, Mercy Miller. They'll be playing on ESPN next week. And then my other son is a senior, Hercy Miller, one of the top players in the country. And I mean, it's just a lot of hard work, man. And I think that people don't realize that the love that we have for basketball and how it's a team effort, that a sport that we bring into our family values at the same time, because it's not about one of us. It's about us looking out for the team and knowing your players. So we use that same lifestyle with our real life as we did with basketball.
Yeah, and Pete, speaking of Hercy, right?
Yeah.
He has an offer from LSU.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's right in your backyard. Is he strongly considering the Tigers? And if you had your pick, where would you like to see him play college basketball at?
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something. We definitely like the Tigers, but we know one thing: if it don't happen, we're gonna end up somewhere in the SEC. So we really like that league. It's a lot of strong teams in the SEC. So we getting close.
Wait, P. When you talk about SEC, it's football, but when you talk about basketball, it's ACC. And I went to Florida State, and Leonard Hamilton doing some big things in Tallahassee, man. We got to see what's up. We got to get Hercy down to Tallahassee for a visit. It'll change his life.
Yeah, no, you know what? what I love about Leonard Hamilton is I went to visit down there with Romeo down there. I mean,
because our film school. I remember it was between SC and Florida State because of film school, right?
Yeah,
I remember that.
You know, the one thing about Leonard, man, he take care of the men, especially the black men. He definitely is a family atmosphere. Yeah. So I definitely love that. You know, with this pandemic, it's been, you can't do the normal stuff you could do. You know, like going to visit these schools, and I think that's gonna a lot of people are gonna lose out because you don't have that personal time that you can spend with these coaches. And so we're definitely trying to figure that part out now. But that's definitely, I mean, if Leonard offered us a scholarship, we'd definitely consider that. But you know, it's gonna be either way, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be either way. We gotta go do what we gotta do.
No question, no doubt.
Wish him Harris nothing but success. But what made you wanted to get into movies? You know, I know you have a very, very broad imagination and being an entrepreneur. What made you wanted to get into like writing movies?
Well, you know, you got to diversify your portfolio. And when you grow up in poverty in the ghetto, and you've seen all the stuff I done seen, you either want to laugh or cry or whatever, something like, but I done seen it all. So instead of living like that, how can I put it into a movie script? And that's when I started creating movies on my own. And it's just been a blessing, man. I think that when God spare your life and he give you a second and a third chance, then you just got to make the best out of it. Now, people always say, you need to just be good in one thing. No, because if you're not good in a lot of different things that work with each other, that's how I'm able to diversify, you know, my portfolio, knowing that if I do music, I could do movies, I could do TV, I could do clothing, it all go together, you know. And now what I'm doing now, I could do food. I mean, we're going to eat food no matter what. So we grew up on noodles, potato chips, pancakes, syrup. You know, when we look at Aunt Your Mom and Uncle Ben, all those brands are mockery of us. And I'm saying, no, let's go back and actually own this. So the more we make, the more we give, so we can take care of the elderly, we can take care of the next generation.
Right. Is there any more movies in the works?
Yes, we got some movies in the works. the Master P biopic, Ice Cream Man, King of the South. That's in the works as soon as we get back. And then I got this movie called God Is Real. So this is one of those things, because we done been through so much this year. For us to survive and be here now is nothing but God.
No question.
Speaking of those movies, like who are some of your actors or actors that's like you would like to go after to play someone?
I mean,
Pat P and Bryant McFadden.
I got some big people in the line for this, but I definitely let y'all know real soon. I just don't want to jinx it. I'm waiting for it to go through.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna let y'all know real soon.
Hey, P, if you need some extras, me and Pat P, we'll nominate ourselves.
I come through for sure.
Yeah, we'll come through, man. If you need some extras, we definitely be there for you. You don't even have to pay me.
For sure.
I get my own flight and everything. Just put me on the set. I'll be all right. Yeah. Hey, but P, you know what, man? You're an icon. You're a legend. And when I let some of the homies know, man, I was fortunate enough to get you on the show. They had so many musical questions for me. So we're going to transition to the music, right? Yeah. I mean, you released 15 studio albums, and I remember all of them from start to finish. But the one that really hits home for me is Ice Cream Man. And when that Ice Cream Man dropped, man, it seemed like instantly everything changed for you dramatically when it came to the musical tip. Was that was that like the groundbreaking moment for you, that album, the Ice Cream Man album?
Yeah, I knew that I was different. I knew that I had something, because back in that time in the 90s, everybody was wearing black. And when I came with the Ice Cream Man, we just lit the whole industry up to where it's like white Dickies, ice cream truck. Everything had changed. And it was like, when I start seeing other people wearing white, I'm like, man, we really been created a movement. Because, NWA, the Ghetto Boys, all they wore was black. Ice Cube, all they wore was black. And then, when they see me, they was like, man, this dude is different. And that's what I tell kids all the time. Being different is going to get you to where you need to go at. It's going to be longevity. Until this day, it's still one of people's favorite albums, the Ice Cream Man. But that album actually opened the doors for my career on a national level.
Oh, no question. And speaking of them white Dickies, I never could find them white Dickies. Every time I went to Walmart, they always had the blue, the black, or the tan.
Yeah,
I couldn't get no white Dickies. I was trying to find them white Dickies.
Yeah, man. I got a quick question for you. What got you into like wearing the lokes, like your shades? Like anytime you see Master P, he got his lokes on.
No question.
I know that's your signature like your staple of your brand. Like, what got you into rocking the lokes?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, just being out in Cali and then going back home to the South, and man, just that was just us, man. Like you couldn't afford a lot of other stuff, but you definitely could get you a nice pair of shades when you were in the hood. So that was my signature piece right there. Like, I might can't afford all the other stuff, but I could always get me a nice pair of shades, and I'm straight.
Hey, you still rocking the Rolex ones and the Versace ones?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I definitely like those.
Yeah, that's dope.
Hey, P, upon creating No Limit Soldiers, man, I think you assembled probably the greatest list of artists ever on the label. You know what I mean? Hometown heroes, to say the least. And then you went out and you ventured and was getting, some of the best that were available. And I think when you look at the free agency market in sports, it's a big deal. But you made free agency a big deal in the music game. Going to sign Mystical, going to sign Snoop Dogg. If you can give me your top 5 list of No Limit Soldiers when you guys are in your prime, number 1 being the best, right? And you can't list yourself. Give me your top 5 rap artists that were on No Limit Soldiers in your prime.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all straight. I mean, even though he was just a wild boy, Soulja Slim, and I really love him.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it.
You know what I'm saying? Like people don't know our relationship, man. Like even when Slim left No Limit, bro, I love that dude so much to where, I just wanted to see him make it. But when you're in the ghetto and you caught up and drugs involved, man, it just brings you down. Like, that was one dude that no matter what, I couldn't lift a bone in my body to hurt this man or nothing on him, even though when he gets, because he get out his mind, and it's like, I'm like, dude, you know how talented you are, bro? Like, you really know that you really Tupac for the South for us.
That's a strong statement.
Right.
Man, but it's the drugs that just kill our people, man, and we don't want to accept that. Like, it's like, this dude was one of the most talented artists. I mean, he just was raw, and he was real, and he was talented, man. But he you know, he loved the hood. It kind of like remind me like Nipsey Hussle of the modern day, how Nipsey Hussle, like the hood just take you under. But this guy, man, was so talented, so he would have to be on my one. Because
Soulja Slim is one.
Man, let me tell you why. When I met this guy, he was rapping, he made his own beats. I'm like, this dude just, you know, he'll beatbox, rap, beat it on his own because he's been in jail.
Yeah.
But I think that's what got him caught up, man, because I just want this generation to realize you don't have to be the toughest guys in the world. When you got talent, let your talent speak for yourself. Let your talent take you out of the negative environment. But sometimes it draws you right back. And then my number two got to be my brother, Corey Miller, C Murder. Same thing. One of the most talented guys in the world, but it's too real for yourself sometimes, you know, and you don't have to be on all the time. And you look at both of those lives, Soulja Slim dead, C locked up. You know, we have to send a message to this next generation. We dying young. We getting incarcerated because we're not thinking outside the box. And we making it out of these environments without talent. But we drawn right back because we think that we got to be too real for the streets. And my thing is, anybody watching this, the streets don't care about you. The streets are not gonna bury you. The streets don't care about you when you're gone. You know, it's always somebody else to take the spot. So my third gotta be Mia X.
Ooh, Mama Mia.
Yeah.
Mama Mia, man. Hey, it's funny you mentioned Mama Mia because I just saw, I think it was her birthday. She just turned 21.
Yeah.
And I think she posted a freestyle when y'all was in Rap City, the basement.
Yeah.
Man, she went hard, man. She went hard.
She opened the door for women in Southern hip hop and for women in the street music that you know, so. And then I would have to go with number two, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah. That's okay. So Snoop, and then who you got left? I think I know who you're gonna say, but let me hear it.
Mystical.
Yes, sir. Hey, when Mystical said, "I'm the 90 through the 94 Buffalo Bills."
Yeah.
When he said that, you know what song I'm talking about too. Man, when he said that,
this is probably one of the most talented, and we got a lot now, so we can't forget about Crazy. Can't forget about Fee. We can't forget about Mac. But, you know,
Mac.
So, you know, if Mac wouldn't have went to jail, he probably would have been number one, to be honest. But
so you would take Mac over everybody? Everybody.
Mac was the most talented artist on the label. I'm just telling you. But he never really got his just due. He left too young. He went to the penitentiary too young. Like, he was like Nas for us. So, go listen to his lyrics. You'll understand what I'm saying.
Be deep with it.
Hey, that's deep right there.
Hey, and P, with you sharing the same background as another major record label, I'm just curious, how come you guys never did any music together?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, we was close by each other, but we had two different paths, and I think that's the way God had it, because you look at Cash Money. Cash Money had built something and you know, that's how it go. You know, a lot of our friends didn't get along with each other, so you know, they're from the Magnolia, we from the Cali, and it's sad that that's how it is, but we got to change that narrative. And but I've always been rooting for them. I've always been rooting for them, because if they from New Orleans and they from where I'm from, I want them to win. And but I think it's more of just the people that was around us. it just wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at that time, New Orleans was the murder capital of the world.
Right.
And I just feel like, you know, we are stronger together. And one day, you know, I think people will get a chance to see us doing a lot more. I just did a song with Lil Wayne of the Power record. So
yeah, that power go hard.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, you know, with growing up, growth come, you know, and change come. So I just thank God, man. I'm not the same person I used to be. I changed my life, and I'm able to see, you know, through all the smoke screen, and I just think that God is growing us up. So, you know, no, whatever you might think, you don't think or whatever, you know, I mean, anything can happen. So I'm definitely still rooting for them, and I want them to win. I mean, they definitely a talented group of people, and they come from the same place I come from. So the love is there, man. You know what I'm saying?
No question. Last question, and we're going to transition to the superlative part of our show, P. I really want to hear your honest answer with this question. I would imagine you've been watching the Verzuz, right? From Swiss and Timberland, the things they've been putting on throughout this pandemic. Yeah. My question for you, would you ever consider doing a Verzuz? And if so, who would you love to battle?
Man.
Come on, P. Don't do us like that. Don't do us like that.
Let me tell y'all, I want to go up against Nike. I want to be the Masterpiece Jordan first. You know what I'm saying? I want to go up against Kellogg's. I want to go up against, because I'm ready for the snack war. I want to go up against Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben with Uncle P. Like, I'm telling you, man.
Okay, we understand that, but musically for the culture, we want to know, because listen, because they keep coming up with all these verses, and listen, they all been spectacular, right? They've been great for the culture, especially during this pandemic. And I just heard Bun B say UGK and 8Ball MJG, they might do a Verzuz, which is going to be huge, especially for the Southern culture, right? But when you talk about Southern hip hop, when you talk about Southern music, you can't have a conversation without having P involved. So I'm asking you again for the people. Listen,
for the people,
P.
Man, I don't want to battle nobody.
Okay, it can be a celebration. It can be a celebration. I won't get my white Dickies. I want to wear my white Dickies, P. Don't do me like that. I want to put on my white Dickies.
We ever have a celebration, man.
Yeah, it was a celebration. It ain't a battle. It's a celebration.
We're going to have a real, when this pandemic over, we're going to have a real No Limit celebration. The No Limit reunion tour is coming back. Gonna be Mia X, Snoop Dogg, Mystical, Silk the Shocker, Fiend, Crazy. It's gonna be crazy. That's the only thing I can tell y'all. Like,
you gonna put on them white Dickies? You gonna wear them white Dickies?
I'm gonna wear them white Dickies, man. We about to go crazy.
All right, for sure. You got to keep us posted. But listen, if you happen to do a Verzuz, just let us know who you gonna battle. You know what, P? You don't even have to battle nobody. You can just do a Verzuz with you. Just share your catalog with all the generation, because you know a lot of people don't really know how legit you were and your music was. Like these youngsters, these youngins, they don't understand back in the 90s, man, the 2000s, man, music started and ended with you. So I think it'd be great for the culture. You don't have to battle. Just let them know, you know what, Switz, Tim, I'm gonna do a Verzuz, but it's just me. I'm gonna just share my catalog. I'm gonna have my soldier rag around my neck, my white Dickies. Every time you do a new song, I'm gonna do a wardrobe change. I'm coming out with the black Dickies, the blue, the brown. So you got to keep us posted on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, so we transition to the superlative part of our show, P, and we hit you with rapid fire questions. We want your honest, unbiased answer. Number one for you, the Mount Rushmore of New Orleans rappers. Your top 4 rappers from New Orleans.
Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Mia X. Soldier Slim.
Hey, I got a quick question real quick. I believe it was you that spoke highly of NBA YoungBoy.
Yes.
How you feel about him?
Yeah, I think that NBA YoungBoy is probably one of the most talented artists to come out of Baton Rouge.
He cold, man.
Besides Boosie. But I just think that, you know, with this young generation, man, you got a lot going on. So we just have to get the right people around us. So I feel like if NBA YoungBoy had the right people around him, man, he'd be the biggest artist in the world.
And I hear that from a lot of OG rappers for sure. Best memory.
You got to let the young people live their life. You know, it took us a little while to figure that out, but you know, I guess that's how it is.
Right. What is your best memory of opening up for Tupac?
It was crazy, man. I went from one fan to millions, and all that happened opening up for Tupac. So, you know, that was my thing, coming through that audience and walking through them 20,000 people and just jamming with, you know, whoever believed in my music and let that spread and just having them believe in me, you know, riding back on that bus and having them listen to my music and be like, okay, you know, I like this. So, you know, I knew I was on to something.
Yeah. Best 3 rap albums ever.
Best 3 rap albums ever.
Yeah.
You got to put Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Yes, sir.
Especially if you from the streets, you know, the Biggest Smalls album. Come on now, you gotta put that in there.
Like that.
Yeah. And I got to go with the Ghetto Boys for me. You know, I'm from the South, so you know, you know, if you're gonna put the Ghetto Boys in there, something wrong with you, dog. For real.
Who was your favorite rapper from the group, Ghetto Boys? Who you went with? Bushwick? Who you went with?
So I like Bushwick. I like Willie D, but I mean Scarface was my favorite, man. Just
no question.
It's just
Face Mob. That Scarface was hell, man.
Yeah. And then just watching a black man own that company, rap a lot, you know, back then, that was just that motivated me, dog. That's to be honest. That motivated me, that whole era with Rap a Lot with Lil J, Suave House with Tony Draper and Uncle Luke. Man, it's just the 2 Live Crew. That just motivated me, man.
Yeah.
What's your best sports lyric ever? My best sports lyric. In the gym, you know, when people say they in the gym, you know, you wasn't there with me when I was in the gym. That's for real right there, you know, because everybody want to take credit for what, you know, what's going on, but they ain't really put the work in, but everybody want to eat the pie. So yeah.
All right, I know you played with a lot of celebrities on the hardwood. If you could have your all-time starting 5 of celebs, who would be in that starting 5? It can be entertainers, it can be actors, it can be whoever. But when it comes to celebs, your top 5.
Easy. That's easy for me.
Who you got?
Master P.
Yep.
Romeo. Silk the Shocker. 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz can hoop.
And J. Cole.
Yeah, J. Cole mean too. Okay. So who the best baller in the Miller family?
You know what? It used to be me, but my kids now, man. Like it used to be Romeo at one time, but now the boys. I mean, my 9th grader is 6'5". You know what I'm saying?
And he still got room to grow.
Yeah, he's still like. I mean, he quick. He'll dunk on you. He can shoot the ball. Like, you know, y'all look him up. Mercy Miller. He shoot the lights out.
Well, we got to get either Hersey or Mercy to Tallahassee for Coach Ham, man. We got to get one of the Miller boys now, P.
And then Hersey, I mean, you know, Hersey's so strong now and quick, man. Like he's a real true point guard, 6'4" point guard. He'll dunk it on, he'll shoot it. So, you know, I mean, man, we got a talented family, but you know, these youngsters now they quicker. So I got to use my, you know, I can't dunk no more. So yeah. I just got to be able to.
You got to outthink them now.
You got to lean on them, P. You got to put that body on them, man.
They get big now. You know what I'm saying? They get big.
All right, hey P, man, you had the opportunity to play with both of these gentlemen, Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. Who was better in your opinion? And both of those guys got game.
Now I know y'all don't know about this. This dude Vince Carter is superhuman, dog.
Yeah.
He took a quarter off the top of the backboard when we was in Toronto. I was like, damn.
Yeah. He took it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they put a quarter on the top of the backboard where the shot clock at.
And he went and got it.
He went and got it.
Yeah. And Tracy McGrady was, let me tell you something. I didn't understand this, dog. Like, how could you have 2 robots on the team? Tracy McGrady was.
He said 2 robots.
No, like these wasn't even humans. I'm just telling you. So, you know, the stuff that Tracy McGrady did on the court, man, was crazy.
Smooth, man. Like it looked so effortless with Tracy.
Yeah, like
both of them boys from Florida, two Florida boys.
Yeah, no. Right there. What is
Daytona?
Daytona, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. We went at it every night, man. We went at it, like you know. And then Charles Oakley was on that team with us.
I forgot y'all had Big Oak.
Oh, I know Oak.
Yeah.
So y'all know that's probably the real reason they let me go, because me and Oak was close, and it was
question. Y'all were too real. Y'all were too real. Y'all had too much of the same personality.
Can't have too many of them. Can't have too many of them on the team.
The deal I had on the table, they had offered me $3.2 million. The next day, it went away. But it wasn't because of basketball. Because if you look, I was putting in work. And Vince Carter, you know, you go back and look this up. Nobody don't know this, but he had a agent named Tank Black or something.
Tank Black that stole some money or something like that.
Yeah, he had got in trouble. And so, you know, with me being on the team, they was like, nah, we don't want all this negative publicity. They thinking, you know, he come from the music. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And after that, man, you could go look at it, because there's no way I was supposed to not be on that team. I was the last player of the league. Like all the new players that got cut before me. Go back and do your history. You're going to see it in my basketball documentary. Like
you were improving their bottom line, because I think you had the top selling jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I had the top selling jersey. And also, I mean, the last game, you know, I'm putting in buckets every game we played. So it wasn't like I'm getting buckets. They had guys that come from the top colleges in the U.S. that wasn't getting buckets. Yeah. So,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, it all worked out, because you still eating good. And hey, real quick, let me give the listeners and the viewers a quick input. Before we got started, we had issues with the connection, right? And Pete thought it was our end, but Pete lived in a castle. He lived in about a 50,000 square foot castle. So, you know, the connection in that house, man, is like, so Pete had to move around the house, man, for a minute to get this strong connection, because this man living in a castle right now, man, a legit castle, man. But this is the last question.
I was trying, dog. I was trying.
No question. Hey, that's a good problem. That's a good problem to have, though, Pete. That's a great problem to have. Hey, last question for you, man. Give us a Saints prediction versus the Bucks this weekend. Give us your score prediction.
Man, we gotta at least get. I think the game is gonna be. We gotta at least get 28. We're gonna have 28. I'm looking at them having like 14.
28 to 14.
Yeah, we got to do that, dog. And I know Tom Brady the man, but you know, y'all know who we got it in that quarterback spot. I ain't gonna even say no name, dog.
No question. And one thing I know about that Mercedes-Benz Dome in New Orleans, boy, that thing be rocking.
Good rocking, man. Jeez. I never wanted the Mercedes Dome, man. I'm 0-3.
0-3. Shoot, I think I'm 1-2. It might be 1-2. And there's something about the Mercedes-Benz Dome, man. That thing, man. When they had them fans in there, it's a great venue to have a sporting event. I can tell you that much. But Master P, man, we know you're busy, man. Thank you for joining us here on All Things Covered, man. Outstanding individual. So a few things that we're going to be watching out for Master P, right? The Reebok deal, if you get it, if you don't, it's already a big deal anyway, because you're showing us the ropes. But if you do get it, I think I'm going to go ahead and load up some Gangsta Reeds. I'm going to get my apparel to support the cause. And secondly, whenever you decide to do some type of verses, I know you say you're going to have the reunion tour coming along, but if you happen to do a verses from that castle that you in, just let us know as well. We're going to tune in.
All right.
And before we let you go, is there anything you want to pull up here? We know you got a lot going on. You got the clothing line. You know, you got the noodles and everything like that. And also, too, what that fried fish tastes like that you cooked the other night?
Man, it's crazy. That's my grandmother's recipe. So you'll be able to get that at Kroger's, Ralph's. But my thing is helping small business. That's what it's about with me. Go to masterpreviews.com. And this show is only on YouTube, but it's about empowering, small business and letting them get their shine. We want to promote their product and build our culture in our community. So we know if they get on, they're gonna go back and help the community, and that's how we empower each other.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We definitely appreciate you, man. We're gonna be staying tuned for everything that you got coming. Like I said, man, you're always welcome to come join the show anytime. Whenever you want to drop the movie, me and Pat P, we're gonna be some extras. You don't even have to pay us anything. You know what I mean? We're on the house.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Be safe, P.
Thanks again to Master P, and thanks to everyone for listening to this episode of All Things Covered. If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe and leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with you next week, where you can expect all things will be covered. Peace.